You're watching the premiere of Season 2 of The Net Guy. So I'm super excited about this season. If you're a returning visitor to the channel, welcome back. If this is your first time here, I'm John with thenetguy.com, and I'm your tech maven. We're going to do tech reviews, gaming machines, gaming builds, PC mods, and lots of really cool stuff here. So if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button, hit like, let's move on. I just posted a video a little while ago about hitting 1,000 subs, and you guys already doubled that. We're at 2,000 subscribers as we're recording this video, and it keeps going up. And I'm going to show you the before and after of performance of several different games that you can play when you upgrade this machine to a faster graphics. I'm super excited to finally release part 2, the benchmarking of the Dell 9020 Optiplex, and you're going to get to see it with 5 different video cards. The results are surprising. They surprised even me, and I'll tell you some tips about what to get. There's also a new machine. It's a sleeper gamer that I've just found. I just picked up 4 of these things in the last month, and I've started to do some research on them. I'm going to show you some episodes about this new gaming machine that you can pick up. Give you a hint, it's not a Dell, but it has DDR4 memory. It's got an i7 6700 processor, and it's about 20% faster than the fastest Optiplex you can find. I'll tell you where you can find it on OfferUp, Craigslist, or with this COVID thing, there's lots of companies that are selling off inventory right now. It can take an NVMe solid state drive. What's an NVMe drive? Well, glad you should ask. We're gonna review some of those this season. I'll tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly about them, and I'm going to be building a gaming PC with a twist. Let's get on to those benchmarks. So the system I used for benchmarking was my personal i7 4790 Optiplex with 16 gigs of memory. It's got a 1 terabyte Crucial MX550 and a 1.5 terabyte 7200 RPM data drive to store games that are not in use. I let the machine warm up about 10 minutes, and I kept the room at 72 degrees. I used MSI Afterburner for most of the counters, and I also cross-checked with some in-game counters or the Steam counter that was available. The i5 4590 was installed in the same exact machine, and the tests were run again for a second time, so I could get a difference on the CPU capability of a 4 versus an 8-thread processor. We have the original Radeon 6950 that I showed you in my how to do a $100 gaming upgrade video. Now that card, it didn't fare so well in the benchmarking scenario, and that's expected. It's many years old, and when I published that video, it was over a year ago. The card was already on its last legs. There's also an R9 270X. That was a little bit faster, not quite cutting the bill. Then there was my first RX series, the RX 470. I picked this graphics card up for $80. I had a video posted on that, and it's actually performed incredibly well. The RX 570 was definitely an upgrade on that. A good friend of mine now and a supporter of the channel actually sold it to me, and we've stayed in touch ever since. Then there's a GTX 1650 low profile. This is DDR6 territory here. This is probably one of the best cards with the lowest power consumption and the highest frame rate. It's also going to be the premier card in our Sleeper Gamer series. So this card was benchmarked in a full-size case, but if you have one of those Dell small form factors, this is the card for you. You don't have to make any changes, and you can run it in that system. And to round it all up, I threw in a GTX 1060 that I got for $100 on Craigslist, and the guy even delivered it to the studio. So we're gonna go see what those cards did, and we'll come back and give a recap.
So the first game we used here is not actually a game, it's the Heaven benchmark. And this is a really good benchmark because it's mainly graphical. And the cards here definitely showed their different graphics performance. And you can see the i7 really didn't have an advantage because it was mainly all the graphics performance of the graphics card that was being tested. Next up was Counter-Strike. Now this is a game that can get very, very high FPS. It's definitely an older game, but there's still a lot of people playing it. It's also the only game that really takes advantage of the multi-threaded CPUs. So the graphics performance all the way down to the R9 270 was well over 100 FPS. Even the Radeon could reach that. The i7 here had a small advantage, as you can see, but everything was over 100 FPS in this game. So next up was Fortnite. Now Fortnite's gotten a lot of customization over the many seasons that it's been available, and all of the graphics cards did very well in this, with the exception of the Radeon 6950. So the R9 270 was playable, but if you want a solid FPS, I would recommend any of the cards on the right. The 470 and 570 were almost in a dead heat here, and this game played really, really well at high settings in all of them. The next game I tested was Doom 2016. Now this is a pretty good game for just overall graphic performance. Doom Eternal is out now, which I'll talk about in a little bit, but this game definitely tested the graphics cards. You could hear the fans running, the temperatures went up a little bit, and they all did really well, and this is where some of the newer graphics cards started to shine. So with the GTX 1060 getting well over 100 FPS, which was really enjoyable to play, especially on the Scepter C30 ultra-wide monitor. Now all of these were done at 1920 by 1080, but that monitor at 200 Hz was just an awesome experience. And a game I really wish had arrived in time was Doom Eternal. I had just gotten a copy of this game while I'd already benchmarked half the cards, so it wouldn't have been fair to only show it on a few of the cards, but overall a satisfying game. They've really outdone themselves with this latest edition, and I look forward to doing a benchmark in future videos. This game is where my 1060 couldn't keep up. The 3 GB memory would only let me play in low settings. The RX 570 with 4 GB let me play in the medium settings.
So what do the numbers tell us? If you're just interested in getting gaming, an RX 470, RX 570 or better is a great card. The RX 570 is still an incredibly powerful card. If you're going to be playing some AAA titles, you can still get away in Warzone, Doom Eternal, and some of the newer titles. Just make sure you pick up the 6 GB version, not the 3 GB that I have. And if you have one of those compact small form factor cases, the Dell 9020 small form factor doesn't have enough room between the PCI slot and the power supply to fit a really decent graphics card. But our new Sleeper Gamer does, and I'm going to show you where you can get it in a future video. So if you haven't already, hit that sub button and watch out for that video coming soon. Now, can you put a better graphics card in this Dell 9020? Absolutely. I've heard of somebody putting a 2080 in it, but you know what? I'm not that kind of person. If the card is worth more than the entire machine, it's probably not the card that I'm going to be using. So I left those cards out. Now, if you want a good budget card, somewhere under $150, there's a lot of great options, and there's links in the video description. If you do have a Dell 9020 and you haven't upgraded your power supply, take a look at the GTX 1650. It's a great card and it doesn't require a power supply replacement. If you do want to go with a higher power card or something that takes PCI Express power, you can watch my video on that upgrade up there or in the video description. Thanks again for watching The Net Guy, and welcome to Season 2.
This is a quick view of what that RX 570 looks like in an RGB case, and what's cool about it is with this motherboard that's also got the Aura Sync lighting, you can actually sync the video card light to the motherboard, to your RAM, to your case, lots of really cool stuff. But we'll get that in a future video.
Hey, thanks for making it to the end of my video. If you want, do me a solid, hit the like button down there, and if you didn't like it, tell me why in the comments. I would love to help you out. If you do need some tech help, you can hit us up on the Discord channel, links in the description below. And why not check out one of these other great videos? It's okay, I'll wait.